What is new, Speed Duel crew? We have the Speed Duel Duos matchup between Dark Magician Snipe Hunter and Iron Grit Alchemy. So we have Iron Grit Alchemy going first. So they're going to start off with the normal summon of a Banisher of the Radiance, and he says all cards going to the graveyard are banished instead. And then after setting 2 cards, they're going to pass the turn over to the Dark Magician player. So Dark Magician player starts off the turn, and they're going to use the search for See Me Rolling to go ahead and grab the Snipe Hunter out of the deck and put a card back on the bottom of the deck here. So the Dark Magician player here is going to be really hoping that the Iron Grit player does not have a response to their Snipe Hunter, because that Banisher of the Radiance is going to stop all of his Karibo cards, like his Magic Karibo and his Sphere Karibo. Next, the Dark Magician player is going to use their skill, Ever Faithful Companions, to go ahead and special summon the Dark Magician, since only their opponent controls a monster. And then the Iron Grit player is going to respond with Lost Wind, which is going to permanently cut Dark Magician's attack in half. And since Dark Magician is at 1250, he is not going to be able to hit over the Banisher of the Radiance. The Dark Magician player is going to go ahead and use the other effect of Ever Faithful Companions, grabbing Dark Magic Attack. And what Dark Magic Attack does is, since he controls Dark Magician, if he chooses to play it, he can blow up the back row, or the spell and trap cards that the Iron Grit player has. He is going to play Allure of Darkness next, which allows him to draw 2 cards, and then he has to banish a dark monster from his hand, and he banishes Sphere Karibo. And Allure of Darkness is also banished because Banisher of the Radiance is still on the field. And Sphere Karibo is not super helpful against Iron Grit Gearfried because Iron Grit is unaffected. Dark Magician go ahead and plays Dark Magic Attack, which banishes Blast with Chain and Dark Magic Attack. And that Lost Wind should have been banished a little bit earlier, since Banisher was also on the field. And then Dark Magician is going to summon Snipe Hunter, discard his Quaking Mirror Force to target the Banisher of the Radiance. Got a 1, and he's going to have to do a reroll. And he goes ahead and hits the Banisher of the Radiance. And he attacks for 2750 in total, since Dark Magician did have its attack cut in half from Lost Wind. So Iron Grit's going to draw for turn, set a card, and then going to normal summon Exiled Force, and going to use Exiled Force's effect to destroy the Snipe Hunter. And they both finally caught that Banisher of the Radiance was not on the field, so those cards should not have been banished. They should go to the graveyard. And then as soon as standby hits, the Iron Grit player is going to activate Macrocosmos. And then the Dark Magician player is going to normal summon Magic Karibo, just in case the Iron Grit player has something up its sleeve, but he is going to go ahead and attack for game. And then we are moving on to game number 2. So it looks like the Iron Grit player is making the Dark Magician player go first, which is a very smart move, because it doesn't allow the Dark Magician player to use the effect that lets him special summon Dark Magician if only his opponent controls a monster. So Dark Magician starts off by normal summoning Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo and setting a face down, and then during standby he activates Mind Crush and calls Gearfried the Iron Knight, successfully hitting the Gearfried the Iron Knight out of the Iron Grit Gearfried player's hand. And the Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo is going to prevent both players from special summoning, which is going to stop Iron Grit from both summoning its Professor of Alchemy tokens that can attack directly, as well as its Cataclysmic Crusted Calcifida. That is a pretty good counter to Dark Magician. So we have Iron Grit setting 2 trap cards. 2 face down cards in the spell trap zone, as well as 1 monster in face down defense position, and passing turn. I'm sure he would have really liked to be able to normal summon that Gearfried the Iron Knight, but that Mind Crush play was pretty devastating. So we have the Dark Magician player going ahead and searching for a Snipe Hunter again, using the See Me rolling skill, which is going to have them put a card from their hand back on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so the Iron Grit player is going to hope that they have something to go ahead and out this Snipe Hunter before he tries to rock his board with the destruction effect, because Snipe Hunter can discard a card to try and destroy a card on the field, and then all you have to do is not roll a 1 or a 6. And it looks like, the Gearfried player accidentally activated Lost Wind when he meant to activate his Macrocosmos. So at the very least, while he doesn't have a counter, anything discarded is going to get banished, which the Dark Magician player has good cards like Magic Karibo that come back from the graveyard, so that's a pretty good idea. So the Dark Magician player rolls a 1 on the first roll, and then it looks like he rolled a 1 again, so he has gone ahead and not destroyed anything with the effect, and he lost an Offerings to the Doomed, which is a good card to lose. He attacks the face down with Snipe Hunter, which is an exiled force, and Snipe Hunter is able to get over it, and then he's able to hit with 1200 direct with the Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo, putting the Iron Grit player down to 2800. So Iron Grit then is going to activate Reinforcement of the Army, searching for a Gearfried the Iron Knight, and this time the Dark Magician player does not have a Mind Crush to try and get them out of this situation. So we're going to be getting out the Iron Grit Alchemy's boss monster of Gearfried the Iron Knight, who is unaffected by all card effects while he's on the field. So we have Gearfried the Iron Knight, who is probably going to be attacking into the Snipe Hunter so he can't blow up the back row. Oh, but then we have the extra Offerings to the Doomed, so it looks like the Dark Magician player is going to be losing both of his monsters on this turn. So he's going to use the Offerings to the Doomed to destroy the face-up Snipe Hunter to skip his next draw phase. And then Gearfried the Iron Knight is going to hit the Dark Magician player over his Fossil Dyna, dealing 600 battle damage. And everything here is getting banished, not to return. So the Dark Magician player is going to go ahead and start off drawing for turn. And he does have a Dark Magician in hand. So since he's going to use Ever Faithful Companions to special summon it, and it's going to get immediately Lost Winded, getting cut down to 1250, which means he's not going to be able to hit over Gearfried the Iron Knight. And then one thing to keep in mind here is that you cannot use Thousand Knives on Gearfried because he is unaffected by it. So he's going to go ahead and search Dark Magic Attack since Thousand Knives is going to be useless. And the Lost Wind is going to be banished because Macrocosmos is up on the field, so we will not get a second use out of Lost Wind. And the Dark Magician player is going to go ahead and activate that Dark Magic Attack, destroying the Macrocosmos. So keep in mind that the Dark Magician player does play fossils in his extra deck, and the Lost Wind could have been reused if that had been possibly played. So the Dark Magician player is going to set one card and pass his turn. The Gearfried player is not going to be able to draw since he played Offerings to the Doom last time, but he's going to have an easy battle over the Dark Magician since its attack was cut in half. It's going to be 18 over 1250 for 550 damage there. So we are looking at a field where the Iron Grit Gearfried player seems to have a solid advantage because whatever trap card or spell card that Dark Magician player has face down is not going to be able to affect that Iron Grit Gearfried. So Dark Magician's going to have a short term and draw and immediately pass their turn. And the Iron Grit Gearfried player is going to follow up with a Banisher of Radiance, locking him out of any Sphere Kribos he might have in hand. And the Iron Grit Gearfried player is going to attack for game. So we're going to go into game 3 with Dark Magician winning the first game and Iron Grit Gearfried winning the second game. Okay, moving into game 3, Dark Magician's going to choose to go first, probably hoping to get the Mind Crush in the opening hand. They're going to set one card in defensive mode, And it looks like he did not get the Mind Crush play. The Iron Grit player is going to start off with the Strong Banisher of the Radiance play, as well as one face down in the back row. So again, Banisher of the Radiance is going to cause anything that would be going into the graveyard to be banished instead, shutting down most of the Karibos in this format. And then now we're going to see the magic of the Iron Grit Alchemy deck, where he's going to banish the DD Warrior in his hand to create an Alchemy Beast token that has 500 attack and can attack the opponent directly. He's going to choose not to attack into the face down, probably assuming it's a Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo, which would destroy the token. And at the very least, if the Dark Magician player does have Fossil Dyna, he can at least force it to flip into attack mode, where Banisher can easily take it out. So the Dark Magician looks like it's got Breaker the Magical Warrior, and he's going to use the effect to destroy whatever back row the player had. And it looks like it was a Lost Wind, which could not be used in response. And it was actually a Mudora face down, so it looks like he was hoping to be in neutral with Iron Grit Gearfried. Then he's going to follow up by searching for a Snipe Hunter for a guaranteed normal summon on the next turn. So he's got a 1600 and a 1500 versus the Iron Grit having a 1600, but its second monster only has 500. And sadly, he did not banish a monster that returns like any of his DDs. So he's going to have Mudora swing into the token for 1000 damage, and then he's going to crash his Breaker the Magical Warrior with the Banisher of the Radiance, which is going to help him put his Karibos back online. And we have Gearfried hitting the field, the very, very scary Gearfried, along with 2 spell and trap cards from the Iron Grit Gearfried player. This is not looking great for Dark Magician here. So, going to destroy the Mudora for 300 damage here. And then going back to the Dark Magician player's turn. Let's see what he's got. We know he has a Snipe Hunter in hand. But the Iron Grit player does also play Interruption. So if he does go with the Snipe Hunter play here, he's going to have to hope that the Iron Grit player doesn't have anything to interrupt the play to at least try and hit the back row. And he hesitantly summons the Snipe Hunter, and there's the interruption. So we have a Blast with Chain combo with Iron Grit Gearfried, who is going to destroy the Snipe Hunter, preventing the destruction of the back row. Oh, but Dark Magician had a backup play, so he has Dark Magician now that he controls no monsters, which he wouldn't have been able to do in the backwards order. Because if he had summoned the Dark Magician first and it got Blast with Chained, then he would not have gotten the search. So it looks like the Snipe Hunter was a little bit of bait, trying to see if there was a Blast with Chain sitting there in the back row. And it looks like it was, and the other back row was, I think, was a Grand Convergence there. And then we're going to pass back to the Iron Grit player after dealing 700 damage by hitting over it with the Dark Magician. So it looks like it's a really good thing that that breaker play destroyed the Lost Wind. Otherwise, this might not have gone so well. And then back to the Dark Magician turn. He summons Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo and is going to go ahead and attack for game. So we have Dark Magician here winning the set 2-1 versus Iron Grit Gearfried. It was a very well fought match, and the Blast with Chain and Lost Wind there at the end could have made all the difference. This has been your Speed Duel Professor. That's game.